My dear friends, we live in a world where the forces of good and evil walk side by side. Every day we encounter people who uplift, encourage, and strengthen us. But there are also those who seek to deceive, to manipulate, and to destroy. Some wear a mask of kindness, yet behind that mask lies a heart full of darkness. They smile, they speak sweetly, but their intentions are far from pure. Perhaps you have felt it, the sting of betrayal, the weight of deception, the pain of being used by someone you once trusted. Maybe you have found yourself questioning, how did I not see it? Why didn't I recognize the warning signs? My friend, you are not alone. The truth is, bad people do not come announcing their arrival. They creep into our lives like shadows, whispering words that sound right, but their hearts are far from good. But today I want to lift the veil. I want to open your eyes to the signs, the undeniable, unmistakable marks that reveal the true nature of a person. Because when you know what to look for, you will never again be caught off guard. You will never again fall into the traps of those who mean you harm. And so, listen carefully, with an open heart and an awakened spirit. The enemy works through deception, but wisdom gives you sight. Be alert, be strong, and above all, never ignore these warning signs. There is something deeply unsettling about a person who lies without remorse. It is not just the act of lying itself, but the ease with which they do it. They do not hesitate, they do not stumble, and they do not feel the weight of their words. Their lies slip from their lips as effortlessly as breath, and they do so with a calmness that deceives even the most discerning hearts. They have mastered the art of deception, weaving falsehoods so seamlessly into their speech that their words sound almost indistinguishable from the truth, and before you realize it, you are caught in their web. Perhaps you have met someone like this, a person who speaks with conviction, who looks you straight in the eye as they tell you something you desperately want to believe. And for a time, you do believe them, because who would lie about something so serious? Who would fabricate a story so elaborate? Who would manipulate your emotions with something that never even happened? And yet, that is exactly what they do. They craft their words with precision, molding them to fit whatever situation benefits them the most. The worst kind of liar is not the one who lies in moments of weakness or fear. No. The worst kind is the one who lies as a way of life. They do not lie out of necessity, nor do they lie to escape trouble. They lie because they can. They lie because it gives them power. They lie because, in their twisted reality, truth is nothing more than an inconvenience. They look at you with sincerity, with warmth, with the kind of charm that disarms you, and before you know it, you have placed your trust in someone who has no intention of honoring it. These people do not feel guilt. They do not lose sleep over their deception. In fact, they take pride in their ability to manipulate the world around them. They wear different faces, adapting to whatever role suits their agenda. With one person, they are the victim, spinning stories of injustice and betrayal to gain sympathy. With another, they are the hero, exaggerating their good deeds to win admiration. And in every case, they are not merely stretching the truth, they are rewriting it entirely. You may try to confront them. You may think that if you present them with undeniable proof, they will have no choice but to admit the truth. But that is where you are wrong. A liar without remorse is not bound by logic, nor are they hindered by facts. If they are caught, they do not confess. They deny, they twist, they accuse. They will look you in the eye and tell you that you are mistaken, that you are the one who misunderstood, that you are the one being unfair. And in their defiance, they will plant a seed of doubt in your mind. They will make you question your own perception, your own memory, your own sanity. This is not mere dishonesty. It is a weapon, a tool of control, and it is devastating, because the moment you begin to doubt yourself, they have won. They have stolen something precious from you, your confidence in your own ability to discern the truth. They will gaslight you, convincing you that you are overreacting, that you are imagining things, that your instincts are wrong. And because you care, because you do not want to believe that someone you trusted could betray you so easily, you begin to accept their version of reality. It does not happen all at once. It is subtle, a small lie here, an inconsistency there. At first, you excuse it. You tell yourself it was a misunderstanding. You give them the benefit of the doubt. But over time, the lies accumulate. The stories start to contradict each other. The mask begins to slip, and suddenly you see it. The truth that was hidden in plain sight all along, but by then the damage is done. You have given them your trust, your time, your love, and in return they have given you nothing but illusions. They have built an entire relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, on a foundation of falsehoods. And when you finally see through the facade, when you begin to pull away, they do not feel remorse, They do not feel shame. Instead, they feel only one thing: anger. Because to them, the greatest offense is not their own dishonesty. It is your refusal to believe their lies. They do not care about the pain they have caused. They do not care about the betrayal you feel. They care only about losing control over you. And so they will retaliate. They will play the victim. They will accuse you of being unfair, of being paranoid, of being too sensitive. They will do whatever it takes to shift the blame away from themselves. And if you are not careful, you will find yourself apologizing. You will find yourself trying to make things right, trying to smooth things over, trying to restore peace, even though you were never the one who broke it. That is the true danger of a liar without remorse. Not just that they deceive, but that they make you question your own worth, your own perception, your own ability to recognize the truth. So what do? How do you protect yourself? The answer is simple yet difficult. You must trust your instincts. When something feels off, do not ignore it. When words and actions do not align, do not brush it aside. When a person's story keeps changing, when they are always the victim yet never take responsibility, when they manipulate with sweet words but their actions tell a different tale, believe what you see, not what they say. You must also set boundaries. A person who lies without remorse does not deserve endless chances. They do not deserve the privilege of your trust. Do not let them convince you that you are overreacting. Do not let them guilt you into staying silent. The moment you recognize the pattern, the moment you see the signs, step back, protect yourself, distance yourself, because the truth is, they will not change. They do not want to change. And the longer you allow them into your life, the more damage they will do. But the most important thing you must remember is this: their lies do not define you. Their deception is a reflection of who they are. You are not foolish for believing in someone who betrayed you. You are not weak for caring. You are not naive for wanting to see the good in people. But now that you know, now that you see them for who they truly are, you must not let their darkness dim your light. Walk away with your head held high. Guard your heart, but do not harden it. Learn from the pain, but do not let it steal your kindness. The world is filled with liars, manipulators, and deceivers. But it is also filled with people who are honest, who are genuine, who are worthy of your trust. Do not let the presence of the bad keep you from embracing the good, because in the end, the truth always prevails. And when the dust settles, when the lies have crumbled, when the masks have fallen, those who walk in truth will stand unshaken. There are people in this world who do not seek relationships, friendships, or partnerships. They seek control. They do not love, they possess. They do not support, they manipulate. They do not build others up, they bend them to their will. To them, people are not individuals with their own thoughts, desires, and needs. People are tools, stepping stones, and pawns to be used for their own benefit. At first, they may not seem this way. In fact, they can be some of the most charming, affectionate, and persuasive individuals you will ever meet. They know exactly what to say and do to make you feel special, needed, even adored. They will shower you with attention, with grand gestures, with the kind of devotion that seems too good to be true. And that is because it is too good to be true. What they are doing is not love. It is a setup, a calculated strategy, a carefully orchestrated performance designed to make you lower your guard, to make you dependent on their approval, to make you trust them so deeply that when the manipulation begins, you will not even see it for what it is. The control does not come all at once. No, it is far more subtle. It begins with small things, almost unnoticeable. A gentle suggestion here, a minor correction there. They may start by making little decisions for you: what to wear, what to eat, how to spend your time. They may phrase it in a way that sounds thoughtful, as if they are simply looking out for you. You should wear this instead. It looks better on you. I don't think you should hang out with that friend. They don't really care about you. Why don't you let me handle this? I know what's best. At first, you might not resist. After all, it seems harmless, maybe even sweet. You may tell yourself that they just care about you, that they want the best for you. But slowly, those small suggestions become firm expectations. Those expectations turn into rules. And before you realize it, you are no longer making your own choices. Their manipulation is not always obvious. They do not need to raise their voice or issue threats. Some of the most dangerous manipulators never yell, never use force, never have to say outright, "Do what I say," because they have a far more powerful weapon: guilt. They will make you feel guilty for thinking differently, for making your own choices, for having boundaries. If you do not agree with them, they will act hurt. If you say no, they will say you do not care about them. If you try to stand your ground, they will twist the situation until you are the one apologizing. And the worst part, you will not even realize it is happening. You will think you are being considerate, that you are compromising, that you are keeping the peace. But in reality, you are losing yourself little by little. Manipulators do not want equals. They want control. They do not respect independence. They fear it. And so they work tirelessly to make sure you need them. They may isolate you, turning you against friends and family. They may undermine your confidence, making you feel as though you cannot trust your own judgment. They may keep you emotionally exhausted, constantly making you prove your loyalty, your love, your devotion, until one day you wake up and realize you no longer recognize yourself. And if you ever try to break free, if you dare to push back, to reclaim your independence, to challenge their control, that is when you will see their true nature. They will not let go easily. They will not simply accept that you have a mind of your own. No, they will fight to keep you under their influence. They may turn to anger, using intimidation to make you submit. They may turn to victimhood, making you feel cruel for wanting space. They may turn to desperation, promising to change, swearing they will be better, pleading with you not to leave. But it is not because they love you. It is not because they care. It is because they cannot stand losing control. But listen closely. You do not owe anyone your obedience. You do not exist to be controlled, to be molded, to be used. You were created with your own mind, your own heart, your own purpose. And no one, no matter how charming, how convincing, how seemingly caring, has the right to take that away from you. If someone truly loves you, they will never manipulate you. They will never guilt you into submission. They will never make you feel small so they can feel powerful. Real love, whether in a relationship, a friendship, or any connection, is built on freedom, on mutual respect, on the ability to say no without fear. And if you recognize these patterns in someone, if you see the warning signs, do not ignore them. Do not make excuses. Do not wait for things to change, because a person who seeks control does not stop until they have it completely. The most important thing you can do is reclaim your power. Set boundaries, speak your truth, walk away if necessary, because the moment you take back control of your own life, the chains they tried to wrap around you will break, and you will be free. Free to think, to choose, to be who you were meant to be. But the sad truth is, manipulators do not just go after the weak. They go after the kind-hearted, the trusting, the ones who give people the benefit of the doubt, the ones who want to believe the best in others. So if you have fallen into the trap of a manipulator, do not blame yourself. Do not call yourself foolish for being deceived. Instead, recognize that you have learned and now you see. And once you see the truth, you can never be manipulated the same way again, because knowledge is power. And when you recognize the tactics, the mind games, the emotional tricks, they will no longer have a hold on you. Do not let fear keep you in a place where you are being controlled. Do not let guilt convince you to stay in a situation that drains your soul. You are worth more than that. You deserve to be surrounded by people who respect you, not people who seek to own you. And if you have already escaped a manipulative person, never look back. Never let them sweet-talk you into returning to their grasp. They will promise change. They will say all the right words. But unless they have truly transformed from the inside out, their actions will remain the same. You are not weak for walking away. You are not selfish for protecting your heart. You are not cruel for choosing yourself. Because the truth is, those who love you will never demand control over you. They will celebrate your freedom. They will empower your decisions. They will encourage your growth. So, my friend, if you ever feel like someone is pulling the strings of your life, ask yourself, is this love or is this control? Is this support or is this manipulation? Is this freedom or is this a cage? And if the answer is not freedom, you already know what you must do. There are people in this world who walk among us without a heart that feels, without a soul that truly connects. They may smile, they may say all the right things, they may even pretend to care, but deep down, they lack true empathy. They do not feel the weight of another person's pain. They do not grieve when others suffer. They do not rejoice when others succeed. Their emotions are a performance, a carefully crafted act designed to manipulate those around them. At first, you may not notice. They can be charming, engaging, and even seemingly compassionate. When you are hurting, they may say words that sound comforting. When you need support, they may offer a listening ear. But if you look closer, if you truly pay attention, you will see the truth. Their concern is surface level. Their words lack depth. Their actions do not align with their promises. A person who lacks true empathy can hear your pain, but they do not feel it. They can watch you suffer and remain unmoved. They may acknowledge your struggles with their words, but there is an emptiness in their eyes, a hollowness in their gestures. They do not experience the natural human instinct to comfort, to uplift, to help, in a way that is genuine and selfless. Instead, they mimic emotions, mirroring what they believe they are supposed to feel in order to maintain their image. You may notice that when the conversation is no longer about them, they lose interest. If you speak about your hardships, they may nod along, but their mind is elsewhere. If you share your excitement, they may offer a polite smile, but there is no real joy in their response. They are not truly invested in your well-being. They are merely maintaining the illusion that they care. And yet, when they are the ones experiencing difficulties, they demand full attention. They expect sympathy, validation, and unwavering support. They exaggerate their struggles, making them seem far worse than they truly are. They position themselves as victims, even in situations where they are clearly in the wrong. They crave the emotional energy of others, but they give nothing in return. When someone lacks empathy, they will never truly be there for you in times of need. If you are grieving, they may show up out of obligation, but their words will be empty. If you are struggling, they may offer advice, but it will lack true understanding. And when you need them the most, when you are at your lowest, they will disappear, because your suffering is inconvenient to them. Your pain is not their problem. These people are incapable of putting themselves in another person's shoes. They may pretend to understand what you are going through, but their actions betray them. You will see it when they dismiss your feelings, when they brush aside your concerns, when they belittle what matters to you. They may call you too sensitive or tell you to get over it. They may roll their eyes at your tears, sigh impatiently at your struggles, and act as though your emotions are a burden rather than a natural part of being human. And yet, they will always expect you to understand them. When they are upset, you are expected to listen. When they are in pain, you are expected to comfort. When they need something, you are expected to provide. The relationship is never equal, never balanced. They drain your energy while giving nothing in return. One of the clearest signs of a person without true empathy is their inability to feel remorse. When they hurt you, they do not truly feel sorry. They may say the words, "I'm sorry," but they do not mean them. Their apologies are hollow, offered only to smooth things over, to end the conversation, to avoid consequences. They do not apologize because they feel guilt. They apologize because they have to. And if you look closely, you will notice that their apologies always come with conditions. "I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have done that." "I'm sorry, but if you hadn't made me angry, I wouldn't have said those things." They do not take responsibility for their actions. They do not feel the weight of the pain they cause. They shift the blame, twist the narrative, and turn themselves into the victim. Because in their world, they are never truly at fault. Even worse, when they know they have hurt you, they may even get angry at you for feeling hurt. Instead of comforting you, they will make you feel guilty for being upset. "You're still mad about that? Why are you making such a big deal out of this? I already said I was sorry. What more do you want?" They do not understand that true remorse comes with change. They do not grasp the concept that an apology without action is meaningless. You may try to explain your feelings to them. You may try to get them to understand, to see things from your perspective. But no matter how much you try, no matter how many times you explain, it will never truly sink in. Because they do not want to understand. They do not want to feel the weight of their actions. They do not want to face the truth that they are causing harm. And if you continue to seek their understanding, if you continue to hope that one day they will suddenly realize the depth of your pain, you will only exhaust yourself. You will spend hours, days, even years trying to explain something that they are incapable of grasping. Because empathy is not something that can be taught. It is something that must already exist within a person's heart. The most dangerous part of dealing with someone who lacks empathy is that they will make you feel like you are the problem. They will make you question whether you are expecting too much. They will make you feel guilty for wanting emotional support. They will convince you that you are being difficult, that you are being needy, that you are being unreasonable. And if you are not careful, you will begin to believe them. You will start to suppress your emotions. You will stop expressing your needs. You will convince yourself that it is easier to suffer in silence than to ask for help, and in doing so you will lose pieces of yourself. Pieces that should have never been given away in the first place. But here is the truth. You are not asking for too much. You are not wrong for wanting kindness, for needing support, for expecting basic human decency. You are not the problem. They are. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you will find the strength to walk away. Because a person without empathy will never change. They will not wake up one day and suddenly feel the emotions they have been missing. They will not suddenly begin to care in the way you need them to. No matter how much love you pour into them, no matter how much patience you offer, no matter how many second chances you give, they will remain the same. And if you continue to hold on, hoping for something that will never come, you will only end up drained, broken, and empty. Because trying to get empathy from someone who lacks it is like trying to draw water from a dry well. You can lower the bucket as many times as you want, but you will never find what you are looking for. So what do? You choose yourself. You recognize that you deserve to be surrounded by people who genuinely care. You set boundaries. You refuse to accept the bare minimum. You walk away from those who take and take without ever giving. And most importantly, you remind yourself that your emotions are valid. Your need for love, for connection, for understanding is not a weakness. It is what makes you human. And you should never have to apologize for wanting to be treated with kindness and respect. Because in the end, life is too short to waste on people who do not have the capacity to love in the way you deserve. Choose to walk with those who feel, those who lift you up, those who listen, those who truly see you. Because those are the people who will make this life worth living. There are people in this world who thrive on deception. Their words are smooth, their stories convincing, their expressions sincere, but underneath it all, they are weaving a web of lies. They are not just occasional liars, not just people who bend the truth to spare someone's feelings or to get out of an awkward situation. No, these individuals lie as easily as they breathe. It is second nature to them. They lie to manipulate, to control, to escape accountability. They lie because the truth does not serve them, because honesty would expose them for who they really are. At first, their lies may seem small, insignificant, even harmless. They might tell a story about their past that does not quite add up, but you brush it off. They might contradict themselves in minor ways, but you assume they simply misspoke. They might tell you one thing and then do another, but you convince yourself that you misunderstood. You give them the benefit of the doubt because you want to believe them, but over time the cracks begin to show. You start to notice the inconsistencies. You catch them saying one thing to one person and something completely different to someone else. You realize that the stories they told you about their past, their struggles, their achievements, none of it really makes sense. And when you confront them, they do not admit to lying. No, they double down. They twist the story, gaslight you into questioning your own memory, and make you feel like you are the crazy one for noticing the discrepancies. A habitual liar is not just someone who hides the truth. They recreate reality. They mold it to fit their needs, shaping it into whatever will benefit them in the moment. And the worst part, they are good at it. They know exactly how to sound believable. They know how to mix just enough truth with their lies to make them convincing. They know how to exploit your trust, how to make you second-guess yourself, how to manipulate your emotions so that even when you sense something is wrong, you still find yourself believing them. And when they get caught, when the undeniable proof of their deception is laid before them, they do not break down in guilt. They do not apologize with sincerity. No, they do something far more dangerous. They shift the blame. They turn the tables. They make you feel guilty for questioning them. Why would you accuse me of something like that? I can't believe you don't trust me. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? They do not take responsibility for their actions. They do not feel remorse for their lies. Instead, they make you feel like you are the problem for even noticing. And that is the true danger of a pathological liar. It is not just that they deceive, it is that they make you doubt reality. They create a world where you no longer know what is true and what is false. They make you question your own memories, your own instincts, your own perception of the world around you. And once they have done that, once they have successfully made you doubt yourself, they have full control. Because when you no longer trust yourself, you have no choice but to trust them. This is how they keep people trapped. This is how they maintain their power. They rewrite history. They erase facts. They gaslight until their victims are so confused that they cannot even recognize the truth when they see it. And the scariest part, many of them have no shame about it. They do not lose sleep over their deception. They do not feel a single ounce of guilt. To them, lying is just a tool, one they use to get what they want, to avoid consequences, to manipulate those around them. They lie to cover up their mistakes. They lie to make themselves look better. They lie to avoid responsibility, to escape judgment, to shift blame onto others. They lie because they believe they are smarter than everyone else, because they believe they can get away with it, and in many cases they do, because most people want to believe the best in others. Most people do not assume that someone they love, someone they trust, is capable of such constant, calculated deception. And that is exactly what the liar counts on. They know that the truth is often too painful to accept. They know that people would rather believe a comforting lie than face a devastating truth. And so they continue. And the more they get away with it, the bolder they become. The lies grow bigger, more elaborate, more dangerous. They manipulate not just individuals, but entire groups of people. They destroy friendships, tear apart families, ruin reputations, all with their words. And when the damage is done, they walk away without a second thought, without a moment of regret, without ever looking back. But here is what you must understand. You do not have to live in their illusion. You do not have to accept their version of reality. You do not have to keep making excuses, keep justifying their behavior, keep hoping that one day they will change, because a habitual liar does not change. A person who is willing to rewrite reality for their own benefit is not someone you can trust. They are not someone you can build a future with. They are not someone you can rely on. Because no matter how much you want to believe them, no matter how much you love them, the foundation of every relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, is trust. And where there are lies, trust cannot exist. So if you begin to see the signs, if you start to notice the contradictions, the inconsistencies, the subtle gaslighting, do not ignore them. Do not silence your instincts. Do not allow yourself to be manipulated into questioning the truth that you know in your heart. A liar will always try to make you feel like you are the crazy one, but you are not. You are simply seeing through the illusion. And once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. So what do? You walk away. You refuse to play their game. You choose truth over deception, clarity over confusion, reality over illusion. You do not let their lies poison your mind, your heart, your soul. Because in the end, no matter how convincing they are, no matter how skilled they may be at twisting reality, truth will always win. And you deserve to live in truth. You deserve honesty, integrity, authenticity. You deserve people in your life who are real, who are genuine, who do not feel the need to manipulate and deceive. Do not waste your time trying to make sense of a liar's world, because the moment you do, you have already fallen into their trap. Instead, trust your instincts, trust the facts, trust yourself. Because when you choose truth, when you refuse to be deceived, you take back your power. And no liar, no matter how cunning, no matter how persuasive, can ever take that away from you. There are people in this world who refuse to take responsibility for their actions. No matter what they do, no matter how much harm they cause, they will always find a way to shift the blame onto someone else. They are never at fault. It is never their mistake. They are always the victim, always the one who has been wronged, always the one who is being unfairly accused. At first, you might not notice it. Maybe it seems like bad luck follows them wherever they go. Every job they've ever had ended because of a bad boss or jealous coworkers. Every friendship that has fallen apart was because the other person changed or betrayed them. Every relationship they've lost was because the other person was crazy or toxic or too sensitive. There is always a reason, always an excuse. But the one thing that never changes is them. No matter how many times they find themselves in the same situation, no matter how many people call them out, no matter how obvious their mistakes are, they will never stop to reflect, never consider that they might be the common denominator. They are incapable of true self-awareness. They do not ask themselves, what could I have done differently? They do not say, maybe I was wrong, because in their minds they cannot be wrong. This kind of person has an endless supply of excuses. If they fail at something, it was because someone else sabotaged them. If they hurt someone, it was because they were pushed to do it. If they lie, cheat, manipulate, it is because they had no choice. They will never own up to their actions. They will never admit their faults. And if you try to hold them accountable, if you confront them with the truth, they will turn on you. They will make you feel like you are the one in the wrong. They will twist the story, rewrite history, gaslight you into questioning your own perception. I never said that. You're remembering it wrong. You're just trying to blame me because you don't want to face your own problems. They will throw your words back at you, flip the script, and suddenly you will find yourself defending yourself, even though they were the one who did wrong. And the longer you stay around them, the more exhausting it becomes. Every disagreement turns into an argument. Every conversation feels like a battle. You try to explain, try to reason with them, try to make them see, but they refuse. They refuse to acknowledge their part in anything. They refuse to grow. They refuse to change, because in their minds, change is not necessary. Why would they change when they are never wrong? Why would they take responsibility when it is so much easier to shift the blame onto someone else? And make no mistake, this behavior is not harmless. This is not just about avoiding guilt. This is about control, because when someone refuses to take responsibility for their actions, they force others to carry that burden for them. They make you clean up their mess. They make you take the fall. They make you feel guilty for things that were never your fault. And if you are a kind, empathetic person, if you are someone who wants to see the best in others, you will be tempted to take on that responsibility. You will think, maybe it was my fault. Maybe I should have handled things differently. Maybe if I had been more patient, more understanding, more forgiving, things would be better. But no matter how much you try, no matter how much you give, nothing changes. Because a person who refuses to take responsibility will always find a way to twist the narrative. If you forgive them, they take it as permission to do it again. If you call them out, they act like the victim. If you try to walk away, they guilt trip you into staying. It is an endless cycle, one that leaves you drained, exhausted, and questioning your own reality. And here is what you need to understand. You are not responsible for their actions. You are not responsible for fixing them, for saving them, for carrying the weight of their mistakes. You are not their scapegoat, not their punching bag, not their emotional caretaker. It is not your job to teach them accountability. That is something they must learn on their own, and many of them never will. Because taking responsibility requires humility. It requires self-reflection. It requires a willingness to grow. And a person who refuses to take responsibility is not willing to do any of those things. They are too consumed by their own ego, too terrified of facing the truth, too set in their ways to admit that they might be flawed. And so they will continue as they always have, blaming, deflecting, avoiding accountability, until the people around them finally decide they have had enough. Because that is the only way to break free. You cannot change them. You cannot force them to take responsibility. You cannot make them see what they refuse to see. But you can choose yourself. You can choose to step away from their chaos. You can choose to stop carrying the weight of their mistakes. You can choose to protect your peace, your sanity, your well-being. Because at the end of the day, life is too short to spend it cleaning up after people who refuse to clean up after themselves. Surround yourself with people who are honest, who are self-aware, who are willing to learn and grow. Surround yourself with people who take responsibility for their actions, who admit when they are wrong, who do the work to become better. And when you do, you will finally understand what it means to be free. You are not responsible for fixing those who refuse to change. Bad people will never take accountability, never admit their faults, and never stop manipulating those around them. The only way to protect yourself is to step away. Choose truth over deception, responsibility over blame, and peace over chaos. Surround yourself with people who value honesty, growth, and integrity, because you deserve better.